My beloved soul, stop for a moment. This is not a coincidence. You were not scrolling aimlessly. You were led here, at this exact second, because something urgent is unfolding in the unseen realm, and it has everything to do with what will happen to you tonight. August 1st is not just another date on a calendar. There is a spiritual shift taking place right now, and heaven is watching closely. God is speaking with intensity, with urgency, and with a weight that cannot be ignored. What happens tonight depends on what you do right now. These are not casual words. This is a divine alert, a final call, a moment that does not repeat itself. There is something approaching midnight, something that will either pass over you in peace or collide with your life depending on your response in this very moment. And this is why you feel it. That slight uneasiness, that pull in your spirit, that quiet voice telling you not to skip this. It is not fear, it is awareness. It is heaven trying to get your attention before it's too late. Archangel Michael is standing near you even now, not in fear but in protection. He has been assigned to guard, to fight, and to deliver this warning with clarity. There is a battle happening that your eyes cannot see. Decisions are being weighed. Doors are either opening or closing. And you, yes you, are standing at the center of it. This is not about panic. This is about positioning. Because tonight carries a consequence, a turning point, a moment where something hidden may be revealed, where something delayed may suddenly shift, or where something meant for harm may be stopped, if you respond correctly. And that response does not require something complicated. It requires awareness, obedience, attention. There are many who will ignore this moment. Many who will scroll past, distracted, unaware that they just missed a divine interruption meant specifically for them. What you did, you are still here. And that alone says something powerful about your spirit. God is not trying to scare you. He is trying to prepare you. Because there is a narrow window right now, before midnight, where your action, your focus, your willingness to listen will determine the atmosphere of your night. Will it be peace or confusion? Protection or vulnerability? Clarity or chaos? The answer is not random. It is being shaped by what you choose to do right now. Archangel Michael does not come with empty warnings. When he appears in the spiritual realm, it means something serious is being intercepted, something important is being guarded. And right now, he is urging you, do not delay. Do not brush this aside. Do not assume this is just another message. This is your moment. Something is about to shift. Something that hath been waiting. Something that cannot be postponed any longer. And heaven is asking just one thing from you: attention and response. Stay with this. Listen closely. Because what you are about to hear may be the very thing that changes the course of your night and possibly much more. Listen carefully, because what is unfolding right now is not random, and it is not without purpose. August 1st carries a weight in the spiritual realm that most people will never recognize. While the world continues in its routine, busy, distracted, unaware, there is an invisible line being drawn tonight. A line between delay and fulfillment, between confusion and clarity, between what was held back and what is finally released. There are moments in time that heaven marks differently. Not every day holds the same spiritual intensity. And this is one of those rare, appointed moments where decisions made in the present echo immediately into the unseen realm. This is why there is urgency in God's voice. This is why the message feels direct, almost pressing against your spirit. Because tonight is not waiting for tomorrow. Tonight responds to now. Behind what your eyes can see, there is movement. Spiritual activity is increasing. Forces that oppose your peace have been attempting to position themselves quietly, subtly, without your awareness. Delays you have experienced, confusion that came without reason, sudden shifts in your energy. These were not accidents. They were part of a silent resistance trying to weaken your awareness before this very moment. But here is where everything begins to change. Archangel Michael has stepped into this situation, not as a distant observer, but as an active defender. His presence signals that something significant is at stake. When he is sent, it is because there is a need for protection, for intervention, for divine order to be restored. He does not arrive for small matters. He arrives when something must be confronted and overturned. And tonight, something is being confronted. There is a timing attached to this moment that cannot be ignored. Before midnight, there is a window, a spiritual opening where your awareness aligns with divine protection. But if that window is overlooked, if it is treated lightly or dismissed, then what was meant to be intercepted may instead be allowed to unfold. Not because God desires harm, but because He honors the space of your response. This is where many people misunderstand divine warnings. They assume that if something is meant to happen, it will happen no matter what. But that is not how this moment is designed. This is a moment of participation, a moment where your attention, your willingness to act, becomes the key that unlocks what heaven is already prepared to release. There are countless examples, even in sacred history, where warnings were given before a shift occurred. Some listened, and their lives were preserved, elevated, transformed. Others ignored, and they faced consequences that could have been avoided. The difference was never about worthiness. It was about response. And now, that same principle stands before you. You may be wondering, why me? Why am I hearing this? The answer is not complicated. You are hearing this because you were meant to. Because your spirit is sensitive enough to receive it. Because somewhere within you, there is still a willingness to pause and listen when something deeper calls. This is not about fear. It is about alignment. Because what is approaching tonight is not just an event. It is a turning point. Something will either be redirected or allowed to continue its course. Something will either lose its hold over you or gain access through your silence. And the deciding factor is not far away. It is within your reach, within your awareness, within your next action. Archangel Michael is not only standing guard. He is urging clarity. He is urging focus. He is urging you to stay present, to not let distraction pull you away from what is being revealed right now. Because distraction is one of the most subtle ways people miss their moment. Not through rejection, but through delay. And delay, in a moment like this, carries weight. You are not being asked to understand everything at once. You are being asked to stay attentive, to recognize that this message is not casual, that there is something unfolding with precision, with timing, with intention. And as this continues, what you need to do will become clearer. But for now, hold on to this truth. Tonight is not ordinary. This moment is not replaceable. And what happens next is already being shaped by how you choose to respond right now. Stay with this. Do not drift. Because the next revelation will bring you closer to understanding exactly what is being prevented and exactly what must be done. There is something you need to understand right now, and it may be the most important realization you have had in a long time. What God is trying to prevent tonight is not random misfortune or coincidence. It is something that has been quietly forming, something that has been attempting to enter your life without your awareness. It does not come loudly. It does not announce itself. It moves through distraction, through delay, through moments when your guard is lowered. And this is why this message had to reach you before midnight. You may have noticed subtle signs over the past few days. A shift in your peace. A feeling that something is slightly off, even if you could not explain it. Small disruptions, unexpected thoughts, moments where your focus felt pulled in too many directions. These were not accidents. These were signal. Not to scare you, but to prepare you. Because what is trying to take place tonight is not stronger than you, but it can take advantage of inattention. And this is where everything changes. You are not being asked to fight a battle in fear. You are being asked to stand in awareness. Because the moment you become aware, the moment you align yourself with what God is saying, the entire atmosphere around you begins to shift. What was trying to approach quietly loses its access. What was trying to remain hidden becomes exposed. And what was meant to disturb you is forced to retreat. Archangel Michael is not standing near you for no reason. His presence means that something has already been detected and intercepted. But interception requires cooperation. Protection requires participation. This is not a passive moment. This is an active one. Right now, in this very moment, there is a simple but powerful action you are being called to take. It is not complicated. It is not out of reach. But it requires sincerity. It requires focus. It requires you to pause everything else and give your full attention to what is happening spiritually. You need to become still. Not physically alone, but internally. Silence the noise. Step away from distractions. Even if it is just for a few moments, create space where your mind is not scattered. Because clarity cannot enter a crowded mind. And right now, clarity is your protection. Speak, even if it is quietly. A simple acknowledgement. A recognition that you are present, that you are aware, that you are not ignoring what is being placed before you. This is not about perfect words. It is about genuine connection. Because when you do this, something begins to activate. The unseen tension begins to loosen. The pressure that was forming begins to dissolve. And a covering, a real, spiritual covering, begins to settle over your space. Not because of fear, but because of alignment. Because you chose to respond instead of ignore. This is why you were chosen to hear this. Not everyone pauses. Not everyone listens. But you did. And that alone has already shifted something in your favor. Now listen carefully. This moment is still active. Midnight has not yet arrived. The window is still open. But it is narrowing. And what you do with the next few minutes matters more than you realize. Do not go back to distraction. Do not brush this off as just another message. Stay present. Stay aware. Because what is being prevented right now is real. And what is being released in its place is also real. You are not alone in this. Archangel Michael is standing as a guardian, ensuring that what is meant for your peace is not stolen, and what is meant to harm you does not find its way in. But your awareness is the key that allows that protection to fully take hold. Hold your focus. Stay connected. Because something has already begun to shift and you are right in the center of it. Type "I am protected" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 5391 is now activated. As this moment of awareness settles over you, understand this: what you just did is not small. It is a seed. And every seed sown in obedience carries a harvest that reaches beyond what your eyes can see. When you support this mission, when you choose to extend this message to others through your giving, you are not just helping a channel. You are helping light reach someone standing in darkness at their exact moment of need. The word says, "Give, and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over." This is not just written, it is alive, and it is speaking to you now. I feel led to act in alignment with this message, and as you step into that same flow, heaven responds. There is a link in the description where you can release your seed through PayPal, and even a QR code placed for you as a doorway of action. Do not hesitate when your spirit is being stirred. What you release now will return to you multiplied in ways you cannot yet see. There is a truth that many people struggle to accept, and yet it is one of the most powerful forces shaping moments like this. Obedience is what separates delay from breakthrough. Not talent, not strength, not even how long you have been waiting. It is the simple decision to respond when God speaks. And right now, you are standing inside one of those defining moments where hesitation and obedience are being weighed in real time. Think about this carefully. How many times in life have you felt a quiet prompting to do something small, something simple, and yet you delayed it? Not because you refused, but because you thought, "I'll do it later." And later either never came, or when it did, the moment had already passed. What you didn't realize then was that some moments are not designed to wait. They carry a timing that is precise, intentional, and once missed, cannot be recreated in the same way. This is one of those moments. Right now, heaven is not asking you for something complicated. There's no heavy burden being placed on you. What is being asked is simple, but powerful. Stay aligned, stay aware, and do not delay the response that is rising within you. Because hesitation, even when it feels harmless, can quietly disconnect you from what is trying to reach you. There is a reason why this message found you before midnight. Not after. Not tomorrow. Before. Because what is being positioned in your life tonight is sensitive to timing. It responds to alignment in the moment, not intention for later. And this is why Archangel Michael is not only present, but attentive. He is watching your response, not with judgment, but with readiness. Ready to act, ready to move, ready to reinforce what God is establishing around you. But even divine protection flows strongest where there is agreement, where there is awareness, where there is a willingness to meet heaven halfway. Imagine standing at the edge of a doorway that is slowly closing. You can see what is on the other side: peace, clarity, protection. But the longer you hesitate, the narrower that opening becomes. The door is not closing to punish you. It is closing because the moment attached to it is moving forward. And if you do not step through while it is open, you remain on the outside of what was meant for you. This is why delay matters. And yet, here is the powerful truth. You are still within the moment. The door is not closed. The window is not passed. You are still positioned exactly where you need to be to respond. And that means everything is still within reach. Archangel Michael is guiding this process with precision. His presence is not passive. He is actively ensuring that what is meant for your protection is not lost. But he is also urging you to stay steady, to not drift back into distraction, to not let your mind convince you that this can be handled later. Because later is not promised to carrying the same weight as now. There is something deeply spiritual about immediate obedience. It creates alignment faster than anything else. It shifts atmospheres instantly. It releases movement in places you cannot see. And right now, that kind of movement is exactly what is needed. You may not fully understand everything that is being prevented tonight, and that is okay. You are not required to see the entire picture. You are only required to trust the moment you have been given. To recognize that this is not ordinary. That something significant is unfolding, and your role in it is not passive. It is active. Even now, As you listen, there is a quiet knowing within you, a sense that this matters more than it appears. That this is not just words, but a real invitation to step into alignment before something shifts. Do not ignore that feeling. That is your spirit recognizing truth. And as you continue, that truth will become clearer. Because what is ahead will reveal not only what must be done, but why this moment carries such urgency. Why August 1st is marked differently. Why midnight is not just a time, but a threshold. Stay focused. Stay present. Because the next revelation will take you deeper into understanding what is truly at stake and why your response right now is more powerful than you realize. There is something happening tonight that goes beyond what you can physically see, and it centers around a principle that many overlook: the opening and closing of spiritual doors. These doors are not visible, yet they influence real outcomes in your life. They determine access, opportunity, protection, and even the flow of peace within your environment. And right now, as this moment unfolds, certain doors are standing at the edge of transition. Some are ready to open. Others are preparing to close. And what determines which direction they move is not chance, it is alignment. You see, every significant shift in life is preceded by a moment of decision, even if that decision feels small. A thought you choose to follow, a distraction you choose to entertain, a prompting you choose to obey or ignore. These choices, though quiet and often unnoticed, act like keys. They either unlock what is meant for you or delay what is trying to reach you. Tonight, those keys are in your hands. There are blessings that have been waiting at the edge of release. Things that have been held back not as punishment but as preparation. Moments that needed the right alignment before they could fully enter your life. And now, that alignment is within reach. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. But at the same time, there are also doors that must close. Doors that lead to confusion, to unnecessary struggle, to cycles that have already taken enough from you. These doors cannot remain open if you are to step into what is meant for you. And this is why this moment matters so deeply, because it is not just about receiving, it is also about releasing. Archangel Michael is actively guarding these transitions. He is ensuring that what needs to close does not linger, and what needs to open is not blocked. But again, there is a connection between his protection and your awareness. He moves with precision, but he also responds to alignment. When you stay attentive, when you remain present, you make it easier for that protection to fully surround you. Think about moments in your past where something shifted suddenly. A situation that could have gone wrong, but didn't. An opportunity that appeared at the exact right time. A feeling of peace that replaced what should have been anxiety. Those were not random. Those were moments where unseen doors moved in your favor. And tonight carries that same potential, but on a deeper level. There is a release attached to this moment. Something that had been waiting to move forward, but it cannot move into a space that is distracted, unaware, or misaligned. This is why your focus right now is so important. Not because you are being tested, but because you are being positioned. At the same time, there may be things trying to hold their place in your life longer than they should. Old patterns, lingering doubts, subtle influences that drain your energy without you even realizing it. These are the doors that must close, and sometimes the only thing keeping them open is inattention. When you become aware, those doors lose their hold. This is why the call right now is not to overthink, but to stay connected. To remain grounded in the awareness that something real is happening, something that requires your presence. Because presence is what allows these shifts to take place directly. You may not see the doors. You may not hear the move, but you will feel the result. Peace where there was tension, clarity where there was confusion, relief where there was pressure. These are the signs that alignment has taken place. And as midnight approaches, the intensity of this moment continues to build. Not in a way that should bring fear, but in a way that should deepen your focus. Because you are not just observing this moment, you are participating in it. Archangel Michael remains steady, unwavering, ensuring that nothing meant to harm you crosses into your space without being challenged. But he is also guiding you to remain just as steady. To not let your attention drift. To not allow the weight of this moment to be lost in distraction. Because what is opening for you is worth your full attention. And what is closing behind you is necessary for your peace. Stay aware. Stay present. Because the next step will take you deeper into understanding how your faith connects to everything that is unfolding and how even the smallest act right now can release something far greater than you expect. There is a deeper layer to what is happening right now, and it centers around something many underestimate. Faith in action. Not just belief in words, not just quiet hope in your thoughts, but active, living faith that responds in the moment it is called. Because in moments like this, faith is not passive. It is a trigger. It activates movement in places you cannot see and shifts outcomes you cannot yet measure. Right now, your faith is being invited to step forward. Not in a dramatic way, not in something overwhelming, but in something simple and immediate. Because the power of faith is not in how big the action appears. It is in the timing of that action. When faith moves in alignment with divine timing, even the smallest response carries immense weight. This is what is unfolding tonight. There are forces that respond to fear, to doubt, to hesitation. But there are also forces that respond instantly to faith. And when faith is activated, it creates a shift that cannot be reversed by what was trying to oppose you. It changes the direction of things that were already in motion. Archangel Michael is working within this very principle right now. His presence is not just about defense, it is about reinforcement. When you align yourself with faith, when you choose to respond instead of retreat, his ability to protect, to guard, and to intervene becomes even stronger around you. It is like a covering that seals what hath been opened and secures what has been released. This is why your response matters so much. Because faith is not something you wait to feel fully ready for. It is something you step into even when you do not have every answer. Even when you cannot see the full picture. Even when part of you wonders how everything will unfold. Faith says, I trust this moment enough to respond. And that response changes everything. You may not realize it yet, but even your attention right now is an act of faith. The fact that you have stayed, that you have listened, that you have not dismissed this as coincidence, this is already movement. This is already alignment. And it is already shifting something in your favor. But there is more. There is always a next step in faith. A continuation. A deepening of that alignment. And right now, that step is being formed within you. It may feel like a quiet nudge, a sense that you should remain still a little longer, that you should stay focused a little deeper, that you should not rush away from this moment. That is not random. That is faith being activated within you. Because when you follow that nudge, when you honor that quiet direction, you create a space where divine movement becomes stronger than any resistance. You allow what is meant to unfold to do so without interference. You remove the barriers that hesitation often builds without you even realizing it. And in doing so, you position yourself for something greater than just protection. You position yourself for release. There are things that have been waiting for your alignment. not because you were lacking, but because the timing had not yet met your response. But now, that timing is here. That response is forming, and that release is closer than you think. Archangel Michael stands firm, not only guarding you, but ensuring that nothing disrupts this alignment. His presence is steady, unwavering, focused entirely on what is being established around you right now. And as long as you remain in the space of awareness, that protection remains strong. Do not underestimate this moment. Do not assume that something so simple could not carry such weight. Because in the spiritual realm, it is often the smallest acts that produce the greatest shifts. A moment of attention, a decision to stay, a refusal to be distracted. These are the things that change outcomes. And you are doing that right now. As midnight draws closer, the importance of this alignment continues to grow. Not in a way that should pressure you, but in a way that should affirm you. That you are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you need to do. Stay in that place. Stay connected to that quiet sense of direction. Because what comes next will reveal how even the resistance you have felt is connected to this moment, and why staying focused right now is the very thing that keeps you one step ahead of it. There is a reason why staying focused right now feels slightly challenging. A reason why your mind may try to wander. Why distractions seem to appear more easily. Why something within you may feel the urge to step away just when things are becoming clearer. This is not random. This is resistance. Not loud, not obvious, but subtle, strategic, and timed. Because whenever a moment carries real spiritual weight, there is always something that tries to pull your attention away from it. Not by force, but by distraction. A thought that seems harmless. A sudden urge to check something else. A feeling that this can be returned to later. These are not coincidences. These are the quiet ways alignment is interrupted. And right now, that resistance is aware of what is happening. It recognizes that you are close to a shift. That you are standing in a moment where something can be prevented, something can be released, something can be secured. And because of that, it does not try to confront you directly, it tries to distract you. This is why awareness is your greatest strength in this moment. Because the moment you recognize distraction for what it is, it loses its power over you. The moment you choose to stay instead of drift, to listen instead of scroll, to remain present instead of postponing, you break the pattern that resistance depends on. And that changes everything. Archangel Michael is not only guarding you from what you cannot see, he is also helping you remain steady in what you can feel. His presence brings clarity, not confusion. Focus, not distraction. And if you pay attention, you may already sense that shift within you. A quiet strength, a grounded awareness, a refusal to be pulled away from this moment. That is not coming from you alone. That is reinforcement. Because the closer you get to alignment, the more resistance attempts to create distance. But here is the truth. It can only succeed if you follow it. It cannot force you. It can only suggest, distract, and wait for you to move away on your own. And you are not doing that. You are still here. It alone is powerful. There are people who would have left this moment already, not realizing what they were stepping away from, not understanding that something significant was unfolding. But you remained. And because you remained, you are moving deeper into clarity while others stay in distraction. This is what separates those who receive from those who miss their moment. Not because one is better than the other, but because one chooses to stay aware. Right now, resistance is weakening around you. Not because it disappeared, but because it is losing its access. It cannot hold your attention the same way. It cannot pull you as easily. And that is exactly what needs to happen for this moment to fully unfold in your favor. Stay with that. Stay grounded in that awareness. Because there is still movement taking place. There are still things being aligned, adjusted, and secured. And your continued focus is what allows that process to complete without interruption. You may begin to notice something else as well. A sense of calm replacing what may have felt uncertain earlier. A quiet confidence settling in. A feeling that you are exactly where you need to be, even if you cannot explain why. This is not accidental. This is what happens when resistance loses its hold. Archangel Michael stands firm, ensuring that nothing regains that access. His presence is not temporary. It is steady, unwavering, fully engaged in what is happening around you right now. And as long as you remain aligned, that protection remains active. Do not underestimate the power of staying. Sometimes the greatest victory is not in doing more, but in refusing to step away and holding your position when distraction tries to move you, in remaining aware when it would be easier to drift. And that is exactly what you are doing. As midnight draws closer, the atmosphere continues to shift, not in chaos but in precision. Everything is moving according to alignment. Everything is responding to awareness, and you are right in the center of it. Stay here, because what is about to unfold next will show you what happens when you fully remain in alignment and how this moment begins to turn in your favor in ways you will soon feel clearly. Something is beginning to shift now, and if you are paying attention, you can feel it. Not in a dramatic or overwhelming way, but in a quiet, steady change. The tension that may have been building earlier is no longer as strong. The uncertainty that tried to surround you is starting to loosen. And in its place, something else is emerging. Something calmer, clearer, more stable. This is what happens when alignment takes hold. This is what happens when you choose to stay present instead of drifting, when you choose awareness over distraction, when you respond instead of delay. You begin to move out of the reach of what was trying to approach you, and into the covering of what has been assigned to protect you. Right now, what was forming against you is losing its position. Not because it was weak, but because it no longer has access. And that is a powerful truth. Because many people believe that protection means nothing will ever try to approach them. But that is not how it works. Protection means that even when something tries to approach, it cannot succeed when you are aligned. It cannot take hold when you are aware. It cannot remain when it is exposed. And that is exactly what is happening now. Archangel Michael is not just standing near you. He is actively ensuring that what has been exposed does not regain its place. He is sealing the space around you, reinforcing what has shifted, making sure that what was meant to disturb you is fully removed from its position. This is why you may feel a sense of relief beginning to settle in, because something has already been interrupted. Something that could have unfolded differently is now being redirected. And this is not just about avoiding something negative. It is also about allowing something positive to enter. Because when one thing is removed, something else takes its place. And what is being released into your space now is peace, clarity, and a renewed sense of stability. This is the turning point. The moment where what could have gone one way is now moving in another. The moment where your response has shifted the outcome. The moment where what was uncertain is now being secured. And you were part of that. Not by force, not by struggle, but by awareness. By staying. By responding when it mattered. By not allowing yourself to be pulled away when distraction tried to take hold. That is what made the difference. And now, as this shift continues, you are moving into a space where the atmosphere around you feels lighter, where your thoughts feel clearer, where your spirit feels more grounded. This is not imagination. This is the result of alignment taking effect. Stay in that. Do not rush away from it, because this is where the fullness of what has just happened begins to settle. This is where the protection becomes steady. This is where the peace becomes noticeable. And this is where you begin to realize that this moment was not small, it was significant. Midnight is approaching, but you are no longer standing in uncertainty. You are standing in alignment, and that changes everything. Type IT is done in the comments if you feel this shift. Blessing code 8824 is now released over your life. As this divine shift settles over you, understand this: what just took place is a living testimony, and testimonies are meant to multiply. When you sow into moments like this, you are not giving to a platform. You are watering a field where countless souls are waiting for their moment of breakthrough. The word declares, "Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy," and right now, heaven is watching who responds with obedience. I feel led to act, to release what has been placed in my hands so that this message can continue reaching those standing at their own midnight hour. There is a PayPal link in the description, and even a QR code placed for you as a point of action. Do not delay when your spirit is being stirred. This is a prophetic moment to give. As you release your seed, may it return to you as overflowing peace, protection, and unexpected provision. Now listen closely, because this is where the weight of this moment becomes even clearer. What you have experienced so far is the result of alignment. But there is another side to this reality, one that many people never fully consider. It is the outcome that unfolds when moments like this are ignored. Not out of rebellion, not out of intention, but simply out of distraction. Because the truth is, if this moment had been overlooked, if you had scrolled past, if you had delayed your attention, if you had chosen to return later instead of staying present, tonight could have carried a very different atmosphere for you. Not necessarily something dramatic or obvious, but something subtle. A disturbance that feels hard to explain. A restlessness that interrupts your peace. A situation that develops without clarity. These are the kinds of shifts that often go unnoticed at first, yet they carry an impact that lingers. And the reason they unfold is not because you were meant to experience them, but because the opportunity to redirect them was missed. This is why awareness matters. This is why moments like this are not casual. Because what is prevented through alignment often goes unseen, while what is allowed through inattention becomes something you have to deal with later. And many people never connect the two. They do not realize that a small moment of awareness could have changed the entire outcome. But you are seeing that now. You are understanding that what you do in the present shapes what unfolds next. And this is not about creating fear. It is about bringing clarity. Because once you understand this, you no longer move through moments blindly. You begin to recognize when something carries weight. You begin to feel when something requires your attention. And most importantly, you begin to respond differently. Tonight, you responded. And because of that, something that could have continued has been interrupted. But there are still many who are unaware. Many who are moving through this exact moment without recognizing its significance. Many who are choosing distraction without realizing what they are stepping away from. And because of that, they may encounter outcomes that feel confusing, unexpected, or difficult to explain. Not because they are being punished, but because they missed the moment where things could have shifted. This is why what you are experiencing right now is so important. Because it is not just about this one night. It is about understanding a pattern, a truth that applies beyond this moment. That awareness creates alignment, and alignment changes outcomes. Archangel Michael continues to stand firm, not only as a protector, but as a witness to what is unfolding. He sees both sides of this reality. He sees what has been prevented in your life, and he also sees what continues to unfold where awareness is absent. And this is why his presence carries both urgency and peace. Urgency, because moments like this matter. Peace, because you have chosen to stay aligned within it. There is a responsibility that comes with this awareness, but it is not a burden. It is a gift. The ability to recognize when something is significant. The ability to respond when it matters. The ability to shift what would have otherwise continued. And you are stepping into that now. As midnight approaches, the difference between alignment and inattention becomes even more defined. Not in a way that divides people, but in a way that reveals outcomes. Because what unfolds next is not random. It follows the path that has already been set by response. You have set yours through awareness. You have positioned yourself within protection. You have allowed what needed to be interrupted to lose its hold. And that is something many never realize until after the moment has passed. But you are realizing it now. Stay grounded in that understanding. Because what comes next will not only guide you further, but will show you exactly what to do to secure this alignment fully before midnight arrives, ensuring that what has shifted remains in place, and what has been released continues to settle over your life. Now the moment has come where clarity must turn into action. Everything you have felt, everything you have understood, everything that has shifted within you, it is now leading to one simple but powerful step. Because awareness without action remains incomplete, and tonight is not a moment meant to remain unfinished. You are being guided, very clearly, into what to do before midnight arrives. You not complicate this. You not overthink this. The power of this moment is in its simplicity. Right now, you need to create a brief but intentional space for connection. Not later, not after you finish something else, not when it feels more convenient. Right now. Even if it is just for a few minutes, step away internally from everything else and become fully present. Close the noise around you. Let your mind settle. Because what you are about to do is not routine. It is alignment. Speak from where you are, not from what you think is perfect. You do not need long words or rehearsed phrases. A simple, sincere acknowledgement is enough. Recognize that you are aware. Recognize that you have received this moment. Recognize that you are choosing to align with what God is doing right now. That is the key. Because when you do this, you are not just speaking, you are confirming your position. You are declaring, without force, that you are not disconnected from this moment, that you are not ignoring what has been revealed, that you are present, aware, and aligned, and that confirmation carries weight. Archangel Michael responds to that alignment by strengthening what has already been set in place. The protection that has begun to surround you becomes more secure. The shift that has started becomes more stable. What was interrupted loses any remaining access it may have tried to hold on to. This is how you seal the moment. Not through effort, but through agreement. Stay in that space for a few moments. Do not rush it. Do not treat it like something to check off and move on from. Let it settle. Let your awareness deepen. Let your spirit fully connect to what is happening. Because this is where the final reinforcement takes place. You may begin to feel something change again. Subtly, but clearly. A deeper calm. A stronger sense of grounding. A quiet assurance that things are in order. This is not your imagination. This is the result of alignment being completed. This is what needed to happen before midnight. Not something complicated. Not something overwhelming. Something simple, sincere, and immediate. and you are doing it. As this continues, understand that what you are experiencing right now is not limited to this one moment. It is teaching you something that can be carried forward. The ability to pause, to recognize, to respond when something carries weight. The ability to not let important moments pass unnoticed. This is how alignment becomes a pattern, not just an event. Archangel Michael remains present, ensuring that what has been established is not disturbed. His role now is not only to guard, but to maintain what has been secured. And as long as you remain in this awareness, that covering remains strong. Midnight is very close now, but there is no urgency in your spirit anymore. No confusion, no pressure, only clarity, because what needed to be done has been done, and what needed to be secured has been secured. Stay in that awareness for a few moments longer. Let it settle completely, because what follows will bring you into the final stage of this moment, the point where everything that has shifted is confirmed, and you step fully into the peace that has been prepared for you tonight. This is the final stretch of this moment, and there is a quiet intensity in the atmosphere now, not one of fear, but one of completion. Midnight is no longer something approaching from a distance. It is here, at the edge, and everything that has been unfolding is reaching its point of confirmation. You have stayed through this. You have remained aware. You have responded when it mattered. And now, you are standing in the exact place where alignment becomes established. There is something powerful about this final phase. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. But it is deeply significant. Because this is where everything that has shifted is no longer in motion. It is secured. It is set. It is anchored into place. Archangel Michael stands as a witness to this moment, not just as a protector, but as one who has been actively involved in what has taken place around you. From the first moment of awareness to now, he has remained steady, ensuring that what needed to be intercepted was intercepted, what needed to be removed was removed, and what needed to be established was firmly set in place. And now, there is nothing left undone. This is important for you to understand, because sometimes, after moments like this, the mind tries to question. It tries to wonder if enough was done, if something was missed, if there is more that should have happened. But that is not the case here. This moment was never about doing more. It was about being present, being aware, and responding in alignment. And you did that. So now, there is no need to strive. No need to go back and repeat anything. No need to search for something additional. What needed to happen has already happened. And this is where peace begins to fully settle in. You may feel it even now, a deeper calm than before, a sense that things are stable, that something has been resolved, even if you cannot fully explain it. This is not just emotion. This is the result of alignment reaching completion. Because when something is truly aligned, it does not leave you in uncertainty. It leaves you in peace. Midnight is crossing over now, and instead of tension, there is stillness. Instead of confusion, there is clarity. Instead of vulnerability, there is covering. This is the outcome of your response. There is also something else taking place in this moment, something that will continue beyond tonight. Because what you have just experienced is not meant to remain isolated. It is meant to become understanding. A recognition that moments like this exist, that awareness matters, that response changes outcomes. This is how you grow in alignment, not through pressure, but through recognition, not through fear, but through awareness. And now that you have experienced this, you carry that understanding forward. Archangel Michael remains present, but his role now shifts slightly, from active interception to steady guardianship, from urgent guidance to peaceful covering, because there is nothing left to confront in this moment. Everything that needed to be addressed has already been handled, and that is why you can rest, not just physically but internally. Rest in the awareness that you did not miss this moment. Rest in the understanding that what needed to be prevented hath been prevented. Rest in the peace that what has been released is now settling into your life. There is no urgency left, only assurance. Stay in that for a moment. Let it fully settle, because what comes next will not bring more urgency. It will bring closure, a gentle, reassuring confirmation that everything is in place and that you can move forward from this moment not with tension, but with peace, knowing that you were exactly where you needed to be, at exactly the right time. Beloved soul, now everything becomes still. The urgency that once surrounded this moment has faded, not because it was unimportant, but because it has fulfilled its purpose. What needed your attention has received it. What required your response hath been answered, and what was forming in the unseen has now been settled in your favor. Take a deep breath within yourself, not because you were in danger, but because you have just passed through something significant. A moment that many would have missed. A moment that carried weight, timing, and purpose. And yet, you did not turn away. You stayed. You listened. You aligned. And now, you are standing in the peace that follows obedience. There is a quiet reassurance surrounding you now. A calm that does not need explanation. A sense that things are in order, even if nothing visible has changed yet. This is how divine alignment feels. It does not always announce itself loudly, but it settles deeply. Archangel Michael remains near, but his presence now carries a different tone. No longer urgent, no longer alert in the same way, but steady, peaceful, protective. Like a guardian who knows the assignment has been fulfilled and now stands watch over what has been secured. You are safe in this moment. You are covered in this moment. And what has been shifted will not return to disturb you in the same way again. This is the power of responding when it matters. Not everything in life requires urgency, but when a moment like this arrives, it carries a specific timing that cannot be replaced. And you recognized it. You did not delay. You did not dismiss. You chose to be present. That choice has now become your peace. As you move forward from this moment, carry this understanding with you, not as pressure but as awareness, that there are times when your attention matters more than anything else, that there are moments when simply staying, listening, and responding can shift outcomes you may never fully see. And tonight was one of those moments. Whatever was meant to unfold differently has already been redirected. Whatever was meant to bring disturbance has already been interrupted. Whatever was waiting for your alignment has already begun to settle into place. So now, you can rest, not in uncertainty but in assurance. Let your mind relax. Let your spirit settle. Let your heart remain steady. Because what happens tonight is no longer something you need to question. It has already been shaped, and it has been shaped through your response. Carry this peace with you into the rest of your night. Let it remain with you as you move forward. Let it remind you that you are not alone, that you are guided, and that when moments like this come, you are capable of recognizing them. Archangel Michael stands as a witness to that truth, and so does this moment. Type "I receive peace" in the comments if this has settled within you. Blessing code 1107 is now sealed over your life. And as this peace rests upon you, hear this clearly. What just happened was not only for you. There are others, right now, standing at their own midnight hour, waiting for a message like this to reach them. The word declares, "Cast your bread upon the waters, for you will find it after many days, and this is your moment to release what has been placed in your hands." I feel the call to act, to sow into this mission so that light continues to reach those who are about to miss their moment. The PayPal link is in the description, and the QR code is already placed before you. This is your point of obedience. Do not delay when your spirit is stirred, because this is not just giving, it is a prophetic act of alignment. As you release your seed, may it return to you multiplied as peace, protection, and divine favor.